All right, everybody, what's going on? We're here for another episode. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know this episode was going to drop. I didn't know Lavar was scheduled to go on FS1 today on First Take. Not First Take, I'm so sorry. On Undisputed. It was a good episode, man. They had them in 3 different segments. I guess the juxtaposition was on First Take, they had Spike Lee on there bitching about... They had him on there bitching about getting kicked out of Madison Square Garden and getting his privileges revoked or something. I was just like, man, it must be a slow sports day. But the entertaining thing was watching LeVar Ball, man. Another great showing. It showed him being a little more introspective this time. It was less about him being, engaging in hyperbole, engaging in bombast. It was more or less him being, straight shooting with his opinions. And so that was good to see. As you see, I'm at the work front today, so it was a little different. I'm not at my usual backdrop, but I didn't plan to make it this video. But seeing that he was on Undisputed today, I had to hop on here and do what I do. And yeah, this shirt, man, I made Astros World Order. I represent H-Town. We are the heels of the MLB this year, so I actually sell these shirts for $20 a pop. So if you're interested, hit me up at Hoop Jargon on Instagram. So yeah, man. So with that being said, let's hop into it, man. Great, like I say, great show, great continuity amongst the host and the guests today. And one thing you can tell is like FS1 loves LeVar Ball, man. It is what it is. They'll talk all that shit behind his back. They'll say all this stuff when he's not there, but when he's there, like, look at Shannon Sharp, man. He's grinning from ear to ear, man, every time. And he's like in lockstep with LeVar says. So, part of it is like, it don't even believe when he acts like he's not in agreement with the way he runs his company and his kids and stuff like that. But every time LeVar's up there, man, he's like right there. He knows that. He knows the character that LeVar is, and he definitely enjoys it, as well as Skip. So let's talk about, a few things he said about his kids. I guess we can start with Lonzo. One thing that they wanted to talk about was him and Zion's chemistry. Unless you've been hiding under a rock the last few weeks, it's been really good, man. The chemistry between the two, excellent. I think Lonzo's unselfishness has kind of led to Zion just going to another plateau. Because one thing you see is, like, in this league, nobody wants to pass first. Everybody wants to score. This is a counting numbers league. This is a league where your stat line pretty much defines you. Like, I see all the time. Let me put this gun on my mouth. Get on my damn nerves. But I see it all the time, man. Like, players really, fans aren't really watching games. What they do is they look at stat lines. And that's why, like, guys, like, in my opinion, Westbrook is so popular with a lot of guys who just casually watch the game. Because they'll see him put up a triple-double and they'll think, like, oh, he had this great game. But when you watch the actual game, there's a lot you could pick apart. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to disrespect Russell Westbrook per se, but I'm just giving an example about how people just stat watch. So let me put the cat out the bag, man. He's never gonna be that guy who just gives these overwhelming stats. That's not him. That's not how he was raised to play. That's not how he's ever been. At UCLA, kinda, but that's not how he views basketball. So y'all got to kind of get that through y'all brains. It's not about counting numbers with him. It's about organic basketball flow. It's about sharing the ball. It's about getting other guys involved. Like, that's what gets him going. That's what his game is predicated on. And so you see a guy like Zion, he's benefiting tremendously, man. Like, Zion's looking good, man. Like, his first step with that little swing through jab step he has going, man, he's putting the league on notice, man. There's not too many people who can guard it, man. Even Dwight Howard, man. when Zion put that shoulder in his chest, Dwight Howard's a big dude, man. If you haven't, wrapped your mind around that. Even Dwight Howard, had to take a step back. You know what I mean? So, and one of the good virtues of him, playing with Zoe is Zoe the kind of guy, the ball gonna come out, he gonna throw a 3/4 court pass to him. So Zion get the easy bucket for him running the lane. And what you don't understand is a lot of players, they won't do that. They won't do it. Because it's kind of a risky pass, and it's not the best way to showcase your dribbling skills and what have you. So a lot of players are, like, very, very selfish, like, in the sense that they want to look good doing what they're doing. They don't want to just make the right play. They want to look good making the right play, if that makes sense. Zoe's not one of them kind of guys, man. He don't care. He does not care whatsoever. Now, I think that sometimes that's at his detriment. I think he should be a lot more aggressive sometimes, but that's just who he is, man. And you're not gonna change him. You watch his temperament. Zoe ain't got nothing but three things to say anytime anybody ever questions him. So that's just his temperament. He don't care. He's very self-defined. He's very okay with who he is, and that's just who he is, man. All right, so I think there's gonna be a good 10-year future, man, with Zion and Zoe, man. It's gonna look real good, man. And whether guys like Bi are a part of it, thus going forward, who knows? I think Bi might be coming into his own, where he kind of doesn't necessarily want to be under Zion's shadow, which, I respect that if that's his opinion. So I don't think, as we project forward past about 3 or 4 years, that Bi is going to be a part of that Pelicans dynamic. I just don't see it. I think, it's going to be that Eddie Kane and I forgot the other cat. You always got one cat too big for the britches, man. They want to break up from the group, man. That's just how it goes when you deal amongst alpha males. At some point, town ain't big enough for the both of them. You know what I mean? So kind of keep your eyes out for that dynamic to present itself. All right, so let's move on to the middle, Jello. So Jello, man, he's making his way. Finally got his ankle surgery, so he's 100% ready. One important thing that Lavar said was that he's looking forward to Jello kind of making his breakout this summer. So right now, as we all know, he plays for the Oklahoma City Blue, but this summer he'll essentially be a free agent, and you'll see exactly what he can do. And now, I will say this: I'm a huge supporter of the family, huge supporter of Lavar. Lavar's kind of big wilder, man. Lavar, and you got to watch him, man, because he's very keen on hyperbole. He's very keen on the power of words, the power of sound bites, how that garners attention for your brand, for the individual, what have you. So one of the prognostications he made was Jello is good enough to lead the league in scoring if he played with Lonzo or Melo, because he's going to keep running the floor, and he's smart, he know how to catch the ball, he's strong and all that. And all that may be true on high school level, man. I just don't see that permeating itself in the pro level. Like, I think, and I said this before, I think Jello he could potentially be a P.J. Tucker type guy, a 3-and-D who can shoot the ball a lot better than P.J. Tucker. Let's get that clear. But a guy who can use his body, a little bit undersized. But, there's a lane. Well, I would say this. Lavar claims that Jello has grown 2 inches, that he's 6'7" now, not 6'5". Now, if that's true, that is a tremendous thing for him, because playing next level, there's a big difference between 6'5" and 6'7". P.J. Tucker's 6'5", and you see the Rockets' little small ball plan they got going. I just don't see that working, man. 6'5" center. I get it, man. He has a low base. He's strong. He's smart. Nah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, man. And, my famous story I like to tell, I played against P.J. Tucker in college when he played for the University of Texas. I played for Prairie View A&M University. I didn't see an NBA player out of him, to be honest. Now, obviously he is. He has a long tenure after he got drafted by the Raptors, played for about 2 years and had to go overseas for a few years and cultivate his talent and came back in. Now he's doing his thing, man. But I just think that that's going to be a similar path for Jello, for him to become an NBA mainstay, in my opinion. So we'll see. Lavar got it. He has this propensity, man, of stuff he's saying coming to fruition, man. Like he has the foresight to just kind of know how the chip's gonna fall and who's gonna end out what kind of way. He predicted LeBron coming to the Lakers. He predicted his son going number 2 pick to the Lakers, amongst a few other things, man. So he's not right on everything, but some things he has he's shown to have a profound sense of understanding of certain attributes. So who knows? I could be a flat out liar on my assessment of LiAngelo. So let's move on to the younger child, who everybody has interest in right now, and that's going to be LaMelo Ball. So with LaMelo, Lavar called it 3 years ago when he first came on FS1 on that show. He's going to be the best. And all signs point to go, man. LaMelo got the deep range. He got the handles. He got the passing ability. He's 6'7", he's the tallest. He shows all the signs that he's going to be the best. And Lavar kind of let on that he wants LaMelo to go to the Knicks. He's saying how, LaMelo likes the bright lights and he likes the big city atmosphere and what have you. Which, having watched him on the show and watched him play, Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's the kind of cat LaMelo is. Like, one thing you'll see about Zoe is he's very reserved. LiAngelo's kind of reserved as well, but LaMelo, he's hot and cold, but he's very much about like being in the spotlight. So I think him going to the New York Knicks is definitely a great opportunity for his brand, great opportunity for his profile, and just being in a position where you can garner other talent to come. Because I mean, secretly, players would love to play for the Knicks. It's a storied franchise, but it's just the Dolan families kind of took that thing down to the toilet, man. Ask Spike Lee to kind of bring this whole thing full circle. So, I think that's a pretty good match for him. And like Lavar was also saying that LaMelo, they asked him, like, who would you compare him to? And he very smartly didn't say a player, because you know how it goes, man. When you hit your wheels to a certain name, everybody going to hold you to that name. So what LaVar did a good job was saying that he's going to be the most unique player you probably ever seen. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, man. He has a game that he takes a lot of things from a lot of players and wraps it all in one package. That, I mean, I would compare him a little bit to Luka Doncic with like a deeper range. He got to get better on defense, but I think Luka is about the only thing I can compare LaMelo Ball to. So I think that's good, man. I think that's a good thing that LaMelo is in the stead that he's at, and he's going to build and grow and be better in. So because it's going to be good for basketball, man. He has to LaVar's point, a great imagination for basketball. Like, he'll think scenarios that most players won't. And most players, they play too safe. Like, they don't play from an imaginative standpoint. That's not how LaMelo rolls. LaMelo is a creator. So I think we'll find on that next level, and he's shown he's going to get it done. And one thing that I guess one of the biggest pieces of criticism I saw over the years is like, oh, you taking him out of school, you putting him here, you putting him there, you making this path for him that is, basically uncouth. It's no precedent for it. And LaVar had a good rebuttal to that. And if you watched it, what he said was, I prepared him to play grown men at a young age. And what do you mean by that? He was saying basically him going to Lithuania and sitting on the bench and being frustrated, it got him to that moment where he won't feel that same thing when he went to Australia. Because if you see R.J. Hampton, him going over to the team he went to in Australia, he had issues with that. Him being the man in high school, going over there to play in the NBL, you're not the man over there, man. Like, those are grown men you playing against. So it causes a little frustration. It causes you, for your game to stutter a little bit. And I'm not going to lie, when LaMelo went over to Illawarra, I didn't think he would go over there and be the man. I mean, he had Aaron Brooks on the team, who's a great NBA scorer, with other, strong guards on that team. If you look at Jeremy Tyler and you look at Brandon Jennings, who did that years before, their stats weren't good in Australia. And LaMelo's were. And what LaVar was saying is because he's been through that stage of playing with grown men already, so he knows what to expect. So it's not going to be something that's going to be brand new information for him. And I thought that was like, it just kind of like mind-blowing right there. Like, that's crazy. So, you can agree with it or not agree with it, man, but it's a method to the madness, you know what I mean, when regarding what LaVar does with some of his kids and what have you. So, one thing I noticed too, man, is a lot of y'all turning y'all backs on Kyle Kuzma, man. Like, and I'm a Laker fan, man. And my whole thing was when the trade went down, I'd rather have kept B.I. I definitely would have rather kept Zoe than keep Kyle Kuzma. Because Kuzma, if you look at him, man, he's more of a Jamal Crawford type, like just a fill-up guy. He's a point fill-up guy. He's not necessarily a guy with a defined game. He's not a guy you can really build around. He just basically add water, get scoring. You know what I mean? He's an instant microwave fill-up guy. And now what you're seeing, and what they kind of asserted on the show, is because B.I.'s doing so well, he's an all-star. Now you see Kuz kind of pressing. And all those people who were so happy that, the Lakers kept Kuzma, they starting to kind of side-eye Kuzma a little bit now. You kind of seeing who he really is. He's a great complimentary piece. He's an instant scorer piece. But he doesn't really do anything specifically to help your team besides score. That's all he really does. So it's just funny kind of now, you kind of see like, who he really is. And I remember saying this, 2 years ago, last year. Like, I mean, I like Kuz and all that, but He's not really a mainstay piece. He's a guy who's going to bounce from team to team, like a Jordan Clarkson. That's the kind of guy he is, man. And so it's just kind of funny that people kind of seeing that now. And on the show, Shannon was kind of like, you could tell he's kind of, Shannon Sharp is a real big LeBron James supporter, man. And so, when anybody hinders LeBron's success, he'll flip on you like a flapjack, man. So it's funny to kind of see him flip on Kuz now. But, just the beginning of the year, when he kept Kuz, he talking all this shit about how Kuz is going to be, this stellar part into this championship run and all this stuff. So, but, it is what it is, man. When you get caught in that fanboy thing, that's kind of stuff, that's kind of dynamic you get caught in. So it is what it is. And so, being a big supporter, one thing I got to say is Lavar was big tripping about his prediction about the playoffs. Listen, man. Now, as it's slated to go, the Pelicans are actually slated to make the 8th seed, which means that they'll be playing the Lakers in the first round, which, from a storyline standpoint, what's better than that? Zion against LeBron, Zoe against his last team, B.I. against his last team, the baby Pelicans versus the veteran Lakers. Like, there are so many storylines tied into that series that makes for great TV. And I would love to see that series, to be honest. And LeVar was saying that the Pelicans were going to show the Lakers something they ain't never seen before. And they're going to take that series. And I'm going to have to keep it G all the way. Absolutely not. There's no way that the Pelicans beat the Lakers in those 7-game series. No way. And what LeVar was saying is that the Lakers would get tired out, namely LeBron, because he's 35, playing up and down with the Pelicans and all that. And in theory, that kind of makes sense. But, let's be honest. LeBron is playing on a stellar level this year. And he's learning how to preserve his body. So, I don't see him. He's too smart to wear himself out that series. And as we've seen, every time the Pelicans and Lakers play, it's usually a good game until size matters. So, at the end of the game, AD's just going to have his weight posting up. LeBron going to have his weight posted up. There's nothing. The Pelicans, just from an inside standpoint, aren't big enough. Derek Favors on his own is not big enough, man. He's an undersized post in his own right. So, there's nothing the Pelicans can do to eliminate the Lakers in the 7-game series. Now, they may steal a game. I can see that happening. Like, maybe they just on fire shooting threes because the Pelicans shoot a lot of threes. So, in that sense, I can see them giving a good run, giving good competition. But other than that, nah, bro. I respect where LeVar coming from. I know what he's doing. He's boosting his son's profile, but nah. How they say, no way, no how. No way, no how. So I don't see that happening whatsoever. So, So I just see that happening. It's going to be a good thing. And LeVar was saying that also that the Clippers have the best team in the NBA. He's saying they have more dogs. And, I don't really buy into that more dogs paradigm because everybody like to overstate what a dog is. And to me, it's good to have dogs in your team. Don't get me wrong. Those guys with high motor, high competitive value, all that. But you got to have intelligence out there too. So if you got a team with all dogs with no thinkers out there, I'm not going to give you the credit just because you got dudes who go hard. Like, you can go hard and go for the wrong reason. Like, and I'm not trying to pick on the brother, but I look at Westbrook in that way. He goes hard all the time. Sometimes it's better to go smarter than harder. And my classic symbol of my classic embodiment of that with Russell Westbrook is, if you remember a few years ago, they played Utah in the first round of playoffs, and Ricky Rubio hit him for 30. And, Ricky Rubio, he's just like Lonzo. He's a pass-first point guard. He's not looking to score. He hit 30 because just Russ was missing assignments and what have you. And after the game, Russell was saying, like, oh, I'm going to go out there and lock him up next game. I'm like, dude, Ricky Rubio will never go for 30 again. Like, not no playoff game. That's not how they run the offense. So you're so caught up in your individual matchup and being a dog and going at them that you're losing scope of the whole series, which is to win the series. It's not to win your matchup. It's not to – but he's more concerned about his image. He wants to look like he dominated his matchup. And to me, it seems like you're okay with losing the series as long as you look like you went out and you dominated your matchup. And I think that is very short-sighted. I think that shows a sense of – I'm not going to say that the brother got low IQ all across the board, but it shows a sense of low IQ with basketball, man. You got to understand all the dynamics. Championship-level athletes know this. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand it's a game within a game. It's not necessarily just about you. And so I think that separates a lot of elite players to the championship elite players when you're willing to be selfless in that sense for the greater goal, the greater good. So I think, even though the Clippers have more dogs, I think they're a better suited team for the playoffs. I think my Lakers are a little bit top heavy. I think we're a little awkwardly built. And so I think the Clippers just got like a lot of weapons you can throw out there, and they have a great coach. And Frank Vogel's a good coach too. Like, I like Frank Vogel. I thought that was a good hire, and it's showing itself to be a good hire at this point. Most people saying Jason Kidd was going to take over midseason. I was like, nah. Frank Vogel is not going to get himself fired. He's a very tactical coach. He's very controlled. He's about running offense and stuff. So, and playing defense. So I knew that. No, I was like, nah. It's not a Jason Kidd coup situation coming where Jason Kidd takes over. Nah, that's not going to happen, man. And so, one thing Lavar said as well is that LeBron was in his eyes MVP this year. Now, I don't agree with that, but I do agree with the sentiment that LeBron's playing at a very high level, and it's also impressive how smart that LeBron has been this year to defer through Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis, if you don't know how the basketball hierarchy goes, great talent, MVP level talent, but he's a beta. His mentality is a beta. He is not the guy to lead others. He's not the guy to be vocal. He's not the guy to galvanize the troops, so to speak. And that's kind of the reason why the Pelicans were so stagnated with that talent and that synergy they had. They couldn't beat good teams because AD couldn't take it to the next level. So LeBron, being a smart veteran he is, he dedicated this whole year to build up AD because he's smart enough to know, I'm going to need you later, dude. So I'm going to run all the offense through you. I want you to be empowered. I want you to feel like this is your team, because when the fire starts, I'm going to need you. And I think he learned that from D Wade. I think D Wade did the same thing. If you remember when LeBron came over to the Heat, he deferred to LeBron a lot. Even though at that time, it's arguable to say that Wade was still on Bron's level. But he was smart enough to know, like, hey, man, if we're going to have this extended thing here with him and Bosh, LeBron's going to have to drive the ship. He's the young one. He has the most fervor. He has the most game. He has the longer stay in the NBA. So D Wade empowered him, which is smart, man. That's just what you do. So LeBron, you can kind of see that transference going on where he's doing the same thing for AD. So hopefully AD's receptive to it. And so we'll see how that plays out. And so also, and the last thing that he spoke on was like that, I don't know if you remember when the Pelicans last played, Zion had that big slam dunk on one side of the court, and LeBron comes in, damn near shoots it from half court, sinks it, killed all that momentum from that dunk. And LeVar was saying with his kids, he always made them play up. So when they were playing in middle school, he would have them do similar stuff like that, because you playing high schoolers, of course they're going to dunk, fans going crazy. He tell them, man, shoot that damn near from half court. So, excuse me. Oh, man, I don't know where that came from. You getting it raw and uncut, man, sneezing and all. But what he was saying, he was encouraging them to do the same thing with the skills that they possessed. Shoot a deep three. Shut everybody up. And that's exactly what you saw that week. And a lot of people, in my sports group were saying, oh, man, that's a dumb shot by LeBron, and why you take that? And I'm just like, man, it's not a smart shot per se, but it was a necessary shot because the Pelicans are playing at home, fans going crazy, big dunk by Zion. That was a huge momentum breaker. Now, that's a risky shot, absolutely. You miss that shot, they get the rebound and get another one, you mess around and lost the game. But if it's a shot you can hit, you take it at a time like that, because it just took all the air out of the arena, man. So I thought that was a brilliant analogy that LeVar made, and I thought that was also a brilliant play that LeBron made in that instance. It's a very risky play, but when you're one of the best in the world, that's something you can do that not many other people can do. So it is what it is with that. So that's all I got for this show, man. I thought that was, again, a great episode. I thought that LeVar did a good job of not relying so much on hyperbole and kind of just talking, getting out his sentiments. And I think, everybody always wants to set him up for like saying this next grandiose, egregious statement so they can kind of use headlines and all that. But he kind of stayed away from that this go round. So I thought that was a good thing. And he talked about the brand being, on a uptick. It's going to be on a onward and upward projection, no matter who's the people representing it. So I thought that all that was good. So we definitely will see where the brand goes from here. But I just want to kind of comment, man. I saw the episode. I know as most of y'all have. I want to get in front of it. Just kind of talk about it, man. So y'all leave y'all, comments of what you think about the show in the comment section. Subscribe, like. Hit me up on Instagram at Hoop Jargon, Facebook at Hoop Jargon. Same thing on YouTube, man. Share this video, man, if you think I had something worth to say. So till next time, y'all, peace out.